Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Benlee Cyclone Pro Fight gloves. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm doing a review on the Benlee Cyclone Pro Fight gloves. I got mine in the black, white, and red colorway. 10 ounces. It is a lace-up closure only glove. You can also get these in 8 ounces, and they make it in a black and gold colorway, as well as a white, black, and red colorway. The gloves themselves are manufactured in Pakistan. It utilizes full genuine leather construction on both sides of the glove, and they are made with multi-layer foam padding. Now, Benlee is really a classic and legendary brand, much like Everlast is, that dates all the way back almost 100 years to the 1930s and 1940s. Benlee was really the first company to endorse Rocky Marciano, which is why you actually see his name on the gloves, on the back of the wrist, on the back of the gloves, on the finger compartment. But other boxers during that time also used Benlee products, like Joe Louis and a lot of other boxers during the time. But unlike Everlast, which kind of evolved and stayed relevant throughout the years, I felt like Benlee kind of slowly tapered off and fell off. And now Benlee is actually a German-owned company, where the original company was actually based here in the United States, I believe in New York, and their equipment was manufactured in New York here in the United States. So much different today than how we saw Benlee back in the old days. And I did a little bit of research. If you Google Benlee and you look online to see kind of the history behind Benlee and how Benlee came about, there's not really a lot of information out there. So I ended up reaching out to John Gollum, the glove doctor. I did a review on John's gloves a couple years ago. John is actually the grandson of the original founder of Everlast, Jake Gollum. So he comes from a lineage of glove artisans and glove makers, and he's in fact the original Everlast. So he manufactures his gloves here in the United States, I believe in Pennsylvania, and he's still active till today. He does a lot of work on not just boxing gloves, but he does a lot of work on repairing other leather goods, and I think he does boxing gloves only like on a special order kind of basis, so very sparingly. But I did reach out to John to kind of pick his brain about Benlee in the history on this company, and he sent me an email giving a little bit of details on how Benlee started and kind of the story behind them. So I wanted to share that with you guys. So basically what John said was Benlee is made in New York City, USA. The original Benlees, not these ones that you see here, were made in New York City. Ben Gollum and his wife Lee, so that's where the name came from. Benlee was basically his name and his wife's name together. Ben was a salesman for Everlast, and under his older brother, my grandfather Jacob, he was well connected with the professional boxing community. So it looks like Benlee is actually the same family as Everlast, essentially. He was well connected with the professional boxing community, which he did his share of promotional work for Everlast. He was commonly known as Benny Everlast. This moniker actually didn't serve him all that well, since he was always associated indirectly with Everlast. My grandfather, Jack, always concerned for the welfare of the family, set up Ben shortly after the Second World War. Ben had a great friend in Marciano, so Rocky Marciano was a friend of Ben, who promoted his equipment, which gave the label dramatic presence in the boxing industry. Benlee was tragically short-lived when Ben died suddenly in 1951. So again, it really just kind of fell off after that. And although his son Lester and wife Lee did all they could, couldn't make it go with it without Ben. It disappeared by the late 1950s. And that's pretty much the story behind that. So I think what happened when Benlee fell off in the 50s is over the years, probably someone in Germany, another company came and bought the name, the trademark to Benlee, and it's essentially obviously not the same company it was back in the day, and you're essentially just kind of carrying the name and the legacy of Benlee from what it used to be back in the 40s and 50s. So that's kind of the history behind it from what I found from John. Really interesting and cool stuff. It would be nice maybe down the road, if I can find a vintage pair of authentic Benlee gloves. That way we can do a review on those, and just depending on the condition, maybe I can actually use them to give you guys my thoughts on that. But for now, let's go ahead and talk about the Cyclone boxing glove. So my first impression of this glove when I put them on and I started using them is these are pretty close, and I wouldn't necessarily say identical, but pretty dang close to the rival Guerrero HDEF Pro Fight gloves, or even their bag gloves, just in the way they feel, the thumb, the sizing of the glove, and even the padding with the EVA that's laminated to the inside of the leather. Now, when you look at the glove, it does have a more compact shape to it. You have the Benlee logo on the back of the glove. The black leather on here is really nice, has kind of a wrinkly texture and grain to it, and you'll notice that there is that EVA that is lined to the leather itself. You do have that angular cuff right here, which I think looks really unique and looks good. I like that Benlee logo also, that's kind of blown up on the back of the wrist support. They say Rocky Marciano, Benlee Original Boxing. So I definitely like the way the glove looks. It looks unique. It doesn't look like any other glove out there in terms of just the design and aesthetics of the glove. You do have the red leather thumb right there, as well as a black attached thumb. It says Rocky Marciano Benlee on the finger compartment. On the palm side, you do have nice long black leather laces with plastic tips. It says Cyclone 10 ounce regular. They also have an XL. You have black stitching. You have about, I'd say about an inch of firm padding on the back of the wrist, as well as softer padding on the inside, with a polyester nylon liner, as well as a tag. You have maybe about, I say, a quarter of an inch of medium density foam padding on the inside of the wrist. On this side, you can see where it ends right here where the double stitching is at. And then the finger compartment, you can see the stitching there, and a really nice sized grip bar. Pretty oversized, and I definitely like that. So when you make a fist, you can really clamp down on that grip bar. Quality wise, these gloves are actually really nice. It was really hard for me to find really any flaws with this glove. The only thing I would say from a, I guess, quality standpoint, and that's not so much from like the leather and the stitching, is going to be the weight. These gloves are advertised as 10 ounce gloves, and they came in at an average of around 9 ounces. So they're about an ounce, 1 whole ounce underweight, which I think is the very first time I've seen a fight glove that's been a whole ounce underweight. So that was a little weird and really threw me off in terms of weight. So it would be nice if they can get that dialed in, and that would be perfect. But the glove was underweight when I put these on the scale. With that being said, you can see that the glove is very well balanced. The distribution of weight is done really nicely from the back. So I mean, I could literally just grab the back cuff and the glove does not sag at all. The leather on here looks really good, consistent. The stitching is done very nicely. The inside liner is really comfortable. No tears, no foam exposed. The outside edges looks really clean. The symmetry of the stitching is good on both gloves. You don't have any crooked lines. Where the thumb meets the index finger, you can see the stitching is done very nicely in there as well. The Benlee logo is done well on the finger compartment, as well as on the back of the glove. You can see it's centered nicely. It's not crooked or tilted. It's right in the middle and right across with the glove, with the plane of the foam. Where the hinge point is, where the stitching between these 2 points looks clean, and the bottom cuff looks good as well. So overall, the quality on these gloves are really nice. Comfort wise, one of my favorite features of this glove. So you slide your hand into the glove, and the first thing you notice is it has like a nice silky smooth liner on the inside. You'll also notice that it's extremely soft and broken in. Just like the rival Guerrero HDEF gloves, you can open and close your hand really with no resistance. So if you're like myself, you're a fan of broken in soft gloves, you'll love these. The thumb padding on the back of the thumb feels really comfortable, and the depth is perfect. You can see that when I make a fist, I don't have any issues with the depth of the finger compartment being too short, so my thumb does not jam on the tip, so that's good. Also, the piping around the fat part of your thumb isn't too tight, so even with hand wraps on, that feels comfortable. You can definitely feel that grip bar right here when you make a fist. The finger compartment, has a good depth to it. It's not too deep, not too shallow, wide enough to accommodate my fingers to where my fingers aren't pushing against each other, and not too wide to where you feel like your hand scoots around on the inside of the glove. But you can see again, you can open and close your glove with relative ease. Wrist support feels pretty good. I mean, it is a fight glove, so there's not really an emphasis on overloading the foam or the padding around your wrist to where it locks it in. So do keep that in mind. This is a fight glove at 10 ounces, or whatever size you decide to get 8 ounces. So if you're gonna use this for heavier training, heavy bag work, do be mindful of that. This is not what the glove was designed originally for. Yes, you can use it for that, but just be kind of, I would say, reset your expectations, so to speak. You know, don't think that these gloves are going to last forever like a traditional bag glove would, or a denser foam glove compared to a pair of fight gloves. So do temper your expectations in that regard. But overall, very comfortable. Love the way these feel. Really nice, soft, broken in feel. You can make an excellent fist with these as well. Protection and performance. These to me feel like a puncher's glove that has a little bit of extra protection with that EVA foam. So if you're looking for something that you get a really good amount of pop out of, but you can actually feel the feedback when you're landing your punches on the target, these are definitely it. And you can see just how flat that punching surface is when you make contact. You definitely land on those two front knuckles, and you can really feel it. And that's the kind of glove I really like. That nice, compact, perfect fitting glove, conforms nicely to your knuckles, and it forces you to use proper form when you are throwing your punches and using good techniques. So I definitely love the way that feels. But these are a little bit more on the puncher's side, so if you're really hung up on using these gloves for just everything in training outside of getting into a fight with these, maybe supplement it with like a gel knuckle pad, just something to give yourself a little bit more shock absorption. That way you can go a little bit longer when you're training with these gloves and not break them down so easily, or should I say break down your hands so easily. Give yourself a little bit more protection. Cost wise, once you convert this over from Euro, these were about 128 US dollars, which I think is a really a fair deal. And the reason I say that is the Guerrero HDEFs, which I feel like these are pretty much identical to those except for the exterior aesthetics of the gloves. Pretty much the same kind of glove with that EVA foam and that softer foam on the inside, but at only $128. I think they look really clean. They're very unique, and I don't think I've ever seen anybody in the gym with a pair of Benlee boxing gloves on. Granted, these are not the original Benlees, but just from a name and moniker standpoint, I don't think I've ever seen that. So you'll probably be the only person that has it, unless you live near me, that has these gloves, this brand of gloves. So at 128 bucks, I think they're definitely a solid choice if you're looking for a pro fight glove that you can use for training, doing your mitts, doing some sparingly, you know, some heavy bag work with these. I think these are definitely a good choice. You have 3 colors to choose from, and obviously your different sizes. Hopefully I can get a pair of their training gloves to see how they do compared to these fight gloves, but so far I'm very satisfied with these. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Benlee Cyclone Pro Fight Gloves. I'll see you guys later. Take care.